Hello, this is session 4-5, covers. So we're going to be talking about what's on the covers of the different primers. And I will also be demonstrating a few steps. And I'm going to share the screen, and we're going to start with the Bible verse and prayer. So the Bible verse for today is Isaiah 55, verse 10 and 11. Rain and snow fall from the sky, but they don't return without watering the earth that produces seeds to plant and grain to eat. That's how it is with my words. They don't return to me without doing everything I send them to do. So, Father, we're very grateful for your word. We have the written word that you've inspired people to write, that we could learn more about you. And we acknowledge that your word is powerful, sharper than a two-edged sword, and piercing, dividing the bone and marrow. Your word brings salvation to people. Reading it, hearing it, and hearing the truth. And we thank you so much for your salvation and your forgiveness. I pray in Jesus' name. So we're going to start by seeing some actual primer covers, and I will be reminding you about what's on a cover in a primer. You can have an illustration, and the title could, and the illustration could go together. The title could be something like Learn to Read, or Light in the World, Bringing Light, and maybe something that reflects that this is a Christian book. This is a Christian endeavor. And there's a statement at the bottom that these are books to teach adults how to read, and they have Bible content. So that's page 1. And on the inside cover of the book, there are the letters of the alphabet. Well, they're not in alphabetical order. The lowercase letters and how to write them. The lowercase letters in the order in which they are taught in the primer. And this probably is just for primer book 1, and you might have another chart like this in book 2 with the letter, if there are new letters taught in book 2, or you may not. You might be able to put the letters that are taught in book 2 here with these letters if there's just a few. And at the bottom, this could go in another place also, but this is where to, who produced the primers, and where to order some printed copies of the primers, and also a contact information for more information, or maybe to set up a training event. That would be great. Okay, the inside back cover usually has a syllable chart. These are open syllables that have at least one consonant at the beginning, and they end with a vowel. That's easy for the student to learn. Now remember, in this syllable chart, the order is the vowels in the alphabetical order in your language, of the vowels that you have room to teach anyway in this syllable chart. And then the consonants in the chart are in the order in which they are taught in the primer. And then I've shown you how to make a syllable chart, and we'll go over that again. And you can see there's some things missing in this chart, and that's because this syllable was not used in that language. And also there might be something missing if that's a rude word or a rude syllable, something that would embarrass people or make people laugh and take their attention off the education process. Okay, the outside back cover, we usually show the alphabet. This is just showing people that might pick up a book or see something about it. This is a literacy book. We're teaching people how to read. So the alphabet would have the lowercase letter and the capital letter, And they might be lined out like this, or they may go across, and we'll show you another primer. And on the outside back cover, you can also have a Bible verse. This is from Ephesus. And that's really wonderful to have Bible verses. And let's close this one and let's go to a different language. This is Portuguese. It was created in Brazil. You can see this says it has a large number 1. The book says book 1. And then it says these are adult literacy books with Bible content. So another way you can distinguish between book 1 and book 2 in your primer on the covers, you could have the large number 1, a large number 2, and you can also print the books with the cover in book 1 in one color, and the cover on book 2 should be a different color. Just that you could have colored paper, or you could print with colored ink. So whatever is least expensive and more helpful for you. So remember, you can have the number 1 on the front of book 1, number 2 on the front of book 2, and you should have the covers should be a different color, different colored paper or ink. One color for book 1 and one color, a different color for book 2. So let's go to the next page. There's the letters that in the order in which they are taught in this book, this primer book 1. It says it right here. How to write the lowercase letters in the order in which they appear in the book. So, and you can see this is the special font with little arrows and little numbers that teach how to write those letters. Now they have an index on their inside front cover, and we don't usually do that, but some countries want to do that. Tells what's in this book: teaching guide, pre-reader, 5 steps condensed, how to write, teaching the writing for lesson 1, then lessons, then word cards, flashcards with the words. Then there might be some songs at the end of the book. So this is reviewing these syllables that are taught in book 1. You should read it with your student, is what it says there. And so you can see the vowels in the consonants that as in the order in which they are taught in this book. And there are some spaces where they don't have a syllable with this vowel. They don't have a syllable with that vowel. That's probably because this is a hard C and these would be a soft C. So that's probably why they don't have it there. They don't want to confuse people. And the same goes with the G. So that's the inside back cover. It says, make sure your student can read these syllables. Okay, the outside back cover. Here we have the alphabet in a different form. It's written here in a different form. You could just do this just by typing all of the alphabet letters in different lines and just spacing over and then centering everything. And here they've put the numbers here. And this is the prayer. A Christian should pray this. And then this is how to order the books, where they could be ordered, in more information about the ministry in Brazil. So let's close that one down. This is book 2. It has the number 2 on the front. And when it's printed, it would be printed with the paper in a different color. So there's a prayer. This is how you should pray. This is from the Bible. These are from Matthew, how you should pray, the Lord's Prayer, what we call the Lord's Prayer. And they also have a syllable chart in book 2. Here's the C with the cedilla that teaches the C is soft. The cedilla makes it soft, even though the A behind it would normally make the C a hard C. So they're teaching a different sound. So that's great. This is wonderful. And this is saying, remember, you should go through the teaching guide and teach with the condensed 5 steps always. And that's just to make everything consistent and logical. The back of the primer again, the back cover, outside back cover, information where to order some printed books, more information you can get about a literacy ministry, some Bible verses. They have lowercase letter and uppercase or capital letter, and they have numbers. Seems to be in a different font, but that's great. So I'm going to close that down. I'm going to go to Publisher. We're going to teach a few things. We have not been teaching in Publisher a lot because most of it's similar to Microsoft Word, but some of it's different. I'm going to show you how to make a syllable chart in Publisher. It would be quite different than in Microsoft Word. And the only reason it would be different would be for the find and replace, to do a syllable chart more quickly with the find and replace. We would do it with text boxes instead of with a table in Publisher. I'm going to insert a shape, just a rectangle, a box. I'm going to remove the fill, no fill. The shape outline is too heavy. Let's make it a little bit lighter. I'm going to insert a text box, draw a text box, a very slender text box. We're going to do a shape format. We don't want to fill. We want the outline to be black, and the weight, we don't want it to be that heavy. Here we go, the same weight there. Now we can go to text box, and here we have different outlines, alignment of your letters. I'd like them to be aligned on the right. We can't center them because we may not fill up this entire box, but to align them on the right, I'm going to click, select the Arial font, and size 12 is a good size. And let's make it, go to home and make a larger line spacing. We don't need it. We want to have more control, so I'm taking out paragraph space. Let's put in 20 for the line spacing, 20 points. And I'm going to type A. I will go ahead and type all the syllables because it's going to be easier just to type them. I'm not going to do a lot. This has an outline. We don't want it to have an outline. I kind of guess I forgot. But you've seen it's a text box. Put it over here. We're going to copy that text box. We'll paste it a few times. It seems that it has a fill. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have a fill. That's great. We might overlap them on top of each other, and that's fine if they don't have a fill. And in Publisher, you can click outside of your area. You can drag and just select the things you want to select. Go to shape format, align at the top, distribute them horizontally. That looks great. I'm not going to be worried about it too much because this is just a demonstration. You've already seen it. You can insert lines in between the rows and the columns. Just going to draw one. You can change the weight. Move it down a little bit. What I would do would be copy and paste this maybe 8 times, and then align them on the left, and then I would select all of them. I'll just paste a couple of them. We're not going to do all of them. I'm just kind of guessing where to put them. I'm going to drag and just select the lines. Go back to shape format, align left, distribute vertically. That's great. You could even copy a set of 3 and paste them. and work that way. I didn't want to do all of it just to save time. So here we have, this row is, the syllable is A, it's open syllables. We want to change all of this to an E. We're going to go to home, and here's the replace section over here. I don't know where it would be in your version, but there's a replace over here. I need to move my name. Search for an A, replace it with an E. Now in Microsoft Word, you can do this in a table, but in Publisher, it didn't let me do this in a table, but we're going to say replace all. It's going to ask me, do you want to search the rest of the publication? No, we don't. So we're going to select all here, replace the A with an I, replace all. The computer asked me, do you want to go through the whole publication? No. That's like the tables in Microsoft Word, but it's a little bit different in Publisher. We want to replace the A with an O. That was a 0. My eyes. We don't want to search anymore. Replace the A with the U. Replace all. So remember, you need to be very careful when you're doing a replace. And you would insert a line, a vertical line in several places, 4 places. Align them and distribute them. But let's delete all of this. I'll just show you one more item. Go back to the top. I'm going to insert an ellipse, an oval shape. If I held the shift button down, I would get a perfect circle, and I don't want that. So we're going to take out the fill, no fill, change, make sure the outline is black. It's selected, so it's black. Change the weight on the outline. I'm going to insert or draw a small text box. And normally it does not have an outline. And let's check to make sure it doesn't have any fill. And that's grayed out, so that's probably selected. No fill, and we don't want an outline. I'm going to type a 1 for book 1. Let's make that a nice, let's make that, how about Times? It would look better in Arial. Times New Roman. Let's make it a very large size. Great. You can even make it in bold if you want to. I don't know if I want to. Control B for bold. We'll see what that looks like. I'm dragging it over the top of the ellipse, the egg shape, the oval shape. So this is a shape that you could put on the front cover of your primer. You could change that to a 2. You may have to adjust the placement a little bit, and that would be for book 2. And that's a lot of fun. And I just wanted, I wanted to teach you there are layers in most programs, desktop publishing programs, or programs where you can add text boxes, add items like a text box, an oval, a square, a line. You might have layers, and I want you to remember you might have layers. Something might be behind the other item. That's usually why we make sure things don't have a fill in them. But if you notice that something is behind, something is hiding something, remember you can bring things to the front, you can send things to the back. So I would bring this text box to the front, although it's already in the front because it was the last item I created. I'm going to delete that. We're not going to save this. I'm going to stop sharing. So that's all for this session. We're going to learn a lot more. I'd like you to practice the things I've shown you, and we really encourage people to enter their primer in Publisher instead of Microsoft Word. And the main reason is because things will not move around in Publisher. The things might have a text wrap on them, wrap text, which you might have to check for, but things are not going to move around the way they do in Microsoft Word. So it was great to be able to speak with you and share with you. And I look forward to the next session.